Hello, welcome once again to another episode of The Naked Turner. Today I've been asked by a friend to make a poplar plate, a sort of deeper plate, platter, almost verging on a bowl. I have turned them a bowl in the past, and they actually want kind of a charger or plate platter to go under that bowl for display. So I did a glue up of a few pieces of poplar and ended up here with a piece of poplar that should work really well. Let me change the camera angle here so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so I have 4 pieces of poplar here, which I glued up in the middle, 90-degree corners. And this piece is almost 2 inches thick, about 1 7/8, and it is 9 3/4 inches in diameter. So I'm going to start turning this, and hopefully it'll all work out, and I'll end up with a nice plate for this gentleman who is looking for a plate to go underneath his bowl that I turned for him. So there you have it. We'll get started turning. But before we do that, I wanted to mention a turner which I've been watching lately. Lately I've been enjoying watching a wood turner from Colombia whose channel is called Art, A-R-T-E-N-E-N, Turno. T-O-U-R-N-O, I believe is how it's spelled. What I'll do is in the descriptions to this video I will post a link to his site. He does some amazingly incredible segmented turning, production turning. He has all kinds of great tips and ideas. I have picked up numerous great tricks from his site. So if you get a chance, check out Art and Torno. I will post a link to Cesar's site, Art and Torno, in the description of this video. So I hope you enjoy this turning video, and I'll try to keep it interesting. Okay, so I'm going to start out by surfacing the bottom and creating a mortise for my scrolling jot shop. I'll be using my 1/2-inch bowl gouge to start out here, and don't forget, the most important thing, always remember your safety gear. Okay, this is spinning freely, everything is locked off, and I've got this piece really well centered, there's 1/10 of an inch or so. Like I said, I'm going to start out by surfacing. Rubbing my bevel. I'm using my 3/8 bowl gouge here in order to surface the bottom and true up the outer edge. Now I'm using my divider to define where my mortise will be, and then using my scraper and my skew chisel to define that mortise. Now using my scraper and my bowl gouge to define the bottom of this vessel. Okay, I've got this sanded right now to 320, and I'm just going to be putting some sanding sealer on it. I'm putting on sanding sealer on the bottom of this plate in order to prep it for wet sanding and final finishing. Some salvaged poplar from a job that I was working on. So I got quite a bit of it. Anyway, you can see it's real pretty. It's got some real nice fire and grain to it. I think John's really going to like this. Okay, a little bit of wet sanding. I'm just wet sanding with 320 grit and some oil in order to keep the dust down and get a real nice prep job for the final finish coat. Just getting rid of a little bit of the excess oil and taking a second with a fresh rag here to just kind of burnish that oil and the wood paste in. Kind of helps to seal the pores a little bit. And there you go. Okay, that is really close to being done at this point. Seeing a little bit of stuff in this groove here, so let me go ahead and okay, it's flipped around. Ready to rock and roll. Got it locked in here on the scrolling jaw chuck. Just kind of lightly tightening this because it was only, I don't know, about 2 hours ago that I glued this up. So I don't want to get too crazy here, put too much expansion pressure on this. I want to just keep it light. The other thing I did is I positioned it so that my jaws are right here, pushing out like this instead of pushing out in the middle of this piece. I'm pushing on both of these pieces and both of those, you know, all the way around. That's how my jaws are oriented. Always take into consideration where your scrolling jaw chucks are in relationship to the grain and how it's expanding. You can minimize the amount of potential failure if you position the jaws correctly, or at least think about how you're going to position the jaws. Alright, so this is ready. Turning it down a little. Now, first thing to do is surface this off. Let me zoom out some so I can show you something else here. Alright, so when I'm doing this, it's excuse me. When I'm doing this, it's nice because I have a low tool handle here coming in to start my cut on the edge, so that I'm rubbing my bevel vertically as well as horizontally. That helps me not get a catch out here on the edge, and low tool handle angle and rubbing coming in. Okay, and what's really nice about that is if you're rubbing the bevel, I can be doing this with one hand. So it's very easy. I'm not going to get a catch. I'm just allowing the tool and a little bit of my stomach here to do the work. And then as you get into the middle, slow down a little and pop it off. Alright, so I've removed a lot of the weight from the outer edge and inner portion of this plate here. And I'm just going to keep removing material out here. Let me see. Okay, so I want to show you what I was talking about. So, as you can see, my bevel back here, I bring it in so that it's rubbing on the wall here. And if I turn it like this, it's still rubbing on the wall. If I turn it like this, I make sure it's rubbing. So, what's nice about that is I can start out my cut. I'm going to bring up the speed a little bit here too, 1200 RPM. I can start out here. I'm not even cutting at all. Then I bring my tool handle up a little to engage the cutting edge, roll my blade, and then I'm just doing a really nice, easy push cut here. And you can remove material real quickly. I'm removing an eighth of an inch or maybe a little bit more right now. And then I'm not going to pop that off because I'm getting close to the desired depth, so I'm going to do that. Just so I don't get a little tear out there in the middle. And now, I'm going to move slowly in little increments across that. Try to get a nice finished cut there. Okay, so you can see I got a really nice finished cut here. Not so much out here on this outer edge, but from about here in, I got a good cut except for that last little bump I have there, which I will flatten out with my scraper. But I wanted to just kind of show you the tool orientation and how that works real nicely. And the other reason it's nice is, like I was showing out here, you can see this, I'm rubbing my bevel. My tool handle is extremely low, way down. I'm at like maybe a 45-degree angle for the workpiece. And I'm coming in, I'm rubbing my bevel, I'm introducing a cutting edge, and removing. Okay? And I can rub back and forth then. I can cut in a push and a reverse pull. And a push and a reverse pull. And I can keep doing that. It's a very efficient way to remove material. And as long as you're rubbing the bevel, you don't run very much of a risk of catching an edge. Or hardly any risk at all catching an edge. Alright, I'm starting to get down to a good plate thickness. I'm working in the same manner, rubbing my bevel and continuing to get this plate down to a thin, consistent thickness throughout. And I'm still using the same tool, my 1/2-inch bowl gouge. And I'm even going to take my 1/2-inch bowl gouge here and turn it into a scraper by turning the two flutes at a 90 degree or perpendicular to the workpiece. And right now I'm just checking the depth by tapping on it and coming back with my 1/2-inch by 3/16 scraper to finish off the surface. I'm doing some quick sanding with my friction sander and getting this ready for sanding sealer and finishing. I'm putting on some sanding sealer and prepping this plate for some wet sanding and the final finishing process. And then this plate will be done. I'll show you some still images at the end of this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're a subscriber already, thank you very much for your continued support. If you're not a subscriber, please take the time to click subscribe and become a member of my channel. Please take the time to like, give me a thumbs up, and share this video. I hope you enjoyed, and once again,
Thanks for watching The Naked Turner.